All right, shalom, shalom. Let me check this. All right, microphone on. Put the D&D. All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai B'Hashem, Rachak Wadash, the bonus to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, which are the men that rule well, the men that taught us his truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations always be to the elect. And those will the title will be Gradualism or More Gradualism now. I'll make it probably the thumbnail of a video how I had gone into a restaurant yesterday and they weren't accepting cash anymore. It was one of those restaurants. And it's funny because it was in a city where the majority of places in this city don't accept cash. Okay. This city is very close to Washington, D.C. It's just outside of D.C. And it's one of those cities where, everything is contactless payment and things like that. And it just made me think of how much of a dystopia America is and will become, man. And it just reminded me of the MOTB. So I'm going to bring out some scriptures, all right, because the MOTB, okay, is the micro CHIP, which eventually, that form of payment, all right, that contactless payment, that no cash is going to eventually be inside of people's bodies. All right. And I'm going to get into that. But I wanted to go into gradualism because I titled it that because every day, gradually, more and more and more, Esau is pushing towards. And now, right now, there's a lot of controversy about immigration and controversy of war. They're not really talking too much about the currency right at the moment like that. Obviously, besides like the tariffs and things like that, the tariff war and things like that. But these things are still being mentioned and still being talked about. And gradually, more and more, you're going to see, more and more stores are going to stop taking cash. Right now, there's still a lot of places that do. But eventually, that sign that you see in the thumbnail, that's going to be everywhere. And it, to the point where one day ain't going to be no more signs because it's going to be common knowledge that cash is not a thing anymore. Okay, now it's just tap to pay, contactless, Apple Pay and things like that. And eventually it's going to be, tap your hand. All right. Or they're going to scan you for your CHIP. So gradualism, a gradual method of action. Right now, let's go to gradual. Having steps or ridges, right? So step by step, right? A step climbed, a step towards something, a degree of something rising by stages. And that's exactly what is going to happen with this way of life, this the way of life that we live right here in America right now. Okay, eventually it's not going to be no more cash being used. Eventually it's going to be that CHIP. Okay, now a lot of Israelites are naysayers and things like that, but when you read the scriptures, man, and you have some sense of spiritual understanding, all right, what this is talking about. This is the CHIP, especially through faith, man. Because what else could it be? So let's get into it. Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? Which... that's going to happen, man. There's going to be a point in time. And that's what you see happening even today on a low level, on a less, violent level right now that, if you don't agree with this image, man, you don't agree with the ways of the beast. If you don't agree with all the things that are attained into their image, you're looked at funny. If you're somebody that wants to keep cash going, just as a small example, they'll be like, why would you want to do that? You don't like paying with your phone? I don't have to carry my wallet anymore. All my cards are in my phone. That's the way that that these people think, especially in America, man. It's all about convenience, because a part of their image is also their currency, man. All right. Also, their different philosophies and things of that nature. But a part of their philosophies is the currency. Their currency isn't based off of the ancient methods that our forefathers left us, trading and bartering. We got faith-based currency here in America. They do, That's how they look at currency. That's not the way that the Heavenly Father set it up. You know what I'm saying? True wealth is land, animals, servants, you see? Gold, silver, precious metals. Things that you can't just pick up, in a forest. You know what I'm saying? Things that things that are actually valuable. Okay, weapons, see, things like that. We live in a society where, the only reason you're able to go buy something today is because you were able to do it the day before. Because people are still choosing to use this fiat, this faith-based money. Okay? So, and the causes many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Because if you're not with the ways of this system, you're going to be outed. You're going to be ostracized. You're going to be killed. All right? I mean, shit, we saw a small glimpse of it with the CVID. There was people getting beat up because they walked into an establishment not wearing their mask. You see what I mean? That's the way people are going to be. If you're not vaccinated, people was looking at you funny. Now it's a thing of the past, so to speak. But at one point, it was very serious to some people. Okay? So Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls it all, both small, great, rich, poor, free, and bond, to receive a mark in their right forehead. In their right hand or in their foreheads. So that mark, charagma, the Greek word charagma, an incision, a cut. It's very obvious that this is not a spiritual thing. This is a physical thing, very much so. Let's get into it. All right. You go to the word mark. Slovakia, my internet, where I'm at right now, it's a little slow. Charagma, a stamp, an imprinted mark. Esau be going off, but thing carved, graven work, and of idolatrous image, that's not true. Well, in a way it is, in a roundabout way. The root word being charax, which is a pale or stake or a palisade. Okay, which is something you make an incision with. All right, that's what that's going into. So, and he calls it all, verse 16 again, and he calls it all, both small, great, rich, poor, free, and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? Which, it's a carnal thing, man. All right, they're going to physically insert that into people. People are going to willingly go and take it. Okay, they're gonna. Hey, even Israelites they're gonna give up Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to take that micro C hit, man. And it lets and this alone, small, great, rich, poor, free, and bond. That alone lets you know that they're gonna. Oh, actually, I forgot to go into that as well, because when you go into causeth, it's the Greek word. Now I'm gonna reread it. I know what it is, but I want to read it for edification's sake. It's the Greek word poieo, which means to make. I know they changed the definition, because I remember at one point they used to just say, it didn't say all this. It used to just say, let me see. Yeah, I think they done removed it. But basically one of the definitions that they had was I believe it was to make it so by force, or so I found it. So like, I had to cut the video real quick. They did originally remove some things that it used to say, but the closest one I found was to, let me see. Wow, they really added all this extra stuff, man. Well, here's one: constitute or appoint one anything, to appoint. So basically, to make one do something, to force you to do it, to make it like a law. And we know he's the one that frameth mischief by law. This is the devil we talking about here. It's Esau Edom we talking about. So he causeth all, meaning he basically is gonna make it be done by force. It's gonna become a law. It's gonna become a rule in his society. All right, for you to take this MOT to the B. Okay? And he causeth all, both small, great, rich, poor, free, and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom: let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 which we know is 666. We know the UPC code and things of that nature. We know what that is already. So the point is, though, that there's gonna come a point in time gradually to where this MOTB which we see the technology is already here. It's just not poeo, man. It's just not made mandatory yet. All right? It's just not being forced upon anybody yet. But, hey, there's other things that's being forced upon us right now. Like, for example, that restaurant that I had gone to yesterday, if I didn't have cash, I wouldn't have been able to eat anything. I wouldn't have been able to make a purchase for my dinner. All right? Because, if I had, wait, I think I said that wrong. But basically, if I only had cash, if I didn't have, let's say I didn't have my phone or my phone died and I didn't have no cards, they would have refused my services because they're not accepting cash. And at some point in time, they're not going to accept, your Apple Pay, your cash, your silver. You got a lot of Israelites talk about, we got to get silver and gold, which that stuff is going to be worthless when the only thing that's going forth with any worth is a can of beans and some food, So, at some point in time, that MOT to the B is going to be your only way to buy and sell. And it's so obvious. That's how these other guys have either sold out or the Lord really have just blinded them, because we know that, at some point in time, it's going to become that, only way for you to make purchases, man. It's going to become the only way for you to live within this society. Okay? It's just because it only makes sense. That's why it says that no man might buy or sell except he that had the mark. You see? So we know at some point in time, this is going to be a regular part of society, and we're not going to be able to partake in that. Because right now we can live with not having cash. We ain't going off for using the RFID chips in our cards and the ones, and the contactless payment. We ain't going off for that. It ain't the mark. It's not like we inserting chips in our body. But, at some point in time, man, we're gonna realize, like, oh shit, man, we're not going to Lidl no more, because they're only accepting the C hip. How about I say the chi hip? But hey, the reason why I say we're not gonna be doing those things, let's get the judgment for it. And this is a real short lesson. I didn't want to make this, very long. Didn't really need to. It was just through the Spirit I wanted to make this. Just based off of my observation. Revelation 14:9, here's the judgment for taking the sea hip. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Right? So it doesn't matter if you get it in your right or your left hand, for you funny Israelites or you simpletons. It doesn't matter where you get it, man. If you willfully took that sea hip, hey, man, this is the judgment written for you. And for you funny Israelites talking about, oh, no, it's not an unforgivable sin. Yes, it is, because there's no forgiveness written for it. You see? It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image. And for you, foolish Israelites, just because you don't take the MOTB doesn't mean the Lord won't judge you. Because it says, if any man worship the beast and his image, you could worship the image and you could worship the image of the beast and not take the sea hip. There's going to be Christians that are going to reject the sea hip. Does that mean that Yahweh Shai now has to deliver them? Of course not, because they believe in a white Jesus and white supremacy. That's a part of the image of the beast. It's deeper. Obviously, it's deeper than the white image of Jesus Christ. But there are different religions and BS lies that they made up as a part of their image. Yes, Islam is a part of that too. Okay, the way that they move, homosexuality, alternative lifestyles is a part of their image. People that partake in that and those lifestyles will also be judged. All right, people that are partaking in the ways of this world, because the ways of this world is their image. The society that they've created. All right, full of wickedness and lies. All right, it's a part of their image. It says, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Right? AKA, if you take the sea hip, you're going to eat a missile. All right? And that's it. Hey, man, it is what it is, man. That's why we preach so heavy, to against this, because we're warning you of these things, man. Because we don't want to be victims either. We don't want to be partakers of taking the sea hip and being destroyed. Because you can't take it and then you pop it out and then now you just, if you willingly took that, the Lord's going to get you. Okay? If you you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a scary thing. Okay. So, hey, man, that's all I wanted to bring out, man. More gradualism, more and more gradualism, step by step. Every day is another step closer to, prophecy taking place, of course, because this is prophecy. Because that's all it is, man. Like Elder Apostle Tahar said, man, really it's the Lord's chip. The Lord is separating the boys from the men, so to speak, man. All right, and soon it'll be made known when this is mandatory. It'll be made known, who's who really. It's gonna test your integrity, man. All right. Right now, things ain't hard right now, man. Truth be told, yeah, the economy's a little effed up, but right now ain't no, you feeding your kids right now. We can still feed our children. We can still wake up, go to work right now. Shit, you can still cut grass and make money. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna get to a point where living ain't gonna be easy. And a lot of everybody's faith we're all gonna be tested. Right? But the scriptures say, then shall be known who are my chosen. The scriptures say that he will bring the third part through the fire. All right. So, hey, more gradualism, man. Let's keep the faith and keep watching out. Keep looking out for prophecy. So with that, I want to give all praise to Yah, B'Shem Yahushai, B'Hashem, Chakadash, that want to my elders and apostles, great millstone, which are the men that rule on Torah, truth, peace, blessings, and citations to thee, like as always. Shalom.